Hello? Can you hear me? I am searching, whether it's the cities, the quiet suburbs, or in the beauty of nature. I will find it in the crevices, in the darkness. Welcome to Lost or Found.
Guess who's back? Hey, it's been a little bit of layoff. Kind of had to go overseas for different reasons. Well, under investigation for possible missing crew members. But hey, that's not my fault. They signed a waiver, and on we go, and we continue our show of Lost and Found. Now we're here somewhere in Norway. Papo got basically this cabin for us. He's outside chilling, building a snowman because he's never built a snowman before, but hey, whatever. But here I am inside, and we are going to talk about an interesting film that was done here in Norway. Now, what happens when you mix found footage and yes, we are talking about Troll Hunter 2010, and just that scene alone, I mean, it is one of the most memorable scenes of the movie. Yes, Troll Hunter, written and directed by Andre Overdahl. Yes, this is going to be an episode full of spoilers. So if you did not watch Troll Hunters, it is now streaming on Tubi. Stop what you're doing here. Go watch the film. Come back and continue this episode. So what's the synopsis of the film? Well, it takes place as three filmmakers from Volda University. Once again, filmmakers looking for trouble, typical found footage, but hey, so found footage is about discovering and finding out the truth behind certain things. So let's get back to it. Troll Hunters. So the synopsis of the film is these three filmmakers, Joanne, Kale, and Thomas, who decide they are going to investigate what's happening to these bears as there is an increase in the killing of bears. Now, as they go into in the beginning of the movie, into investigating who is the source behind these killings, they find out that there is a character in this film called Hans, who can't possibly be the poacher. Now, a lot of these characters who we meet in the beginning speak of Hans in the matter that you can tell they hate his guts because he's mysterious. They kind of know who he is, but they really have no interaction with him. So soon they find out where he is and begin their investigation into the character of Hans. Now, as we see earlier in the film, they try to get questions out of him. He's a mysterious fellow, quick with words, wants to be left alone, but eventually they continue to follow him. And in the middle of the night, that scene we just seen earlier is what happens. They go into the woods looking to see where this Hans character is, and he comes screaming out trolls. Now, as they're running back to the car, Thomas gets attacked by something. We don't see what it is at first, but when he does get attacked, he gets back into the car, and the first thing he says is, "Did you just really say trolls?" Now, Hans' character is a very interesting aspect of this movie because it is all about Hans, what he does, what he wants to do, and basically what he wants to be done with. So, what eventually happens is Hans allows them to film him because he's kind of tired of what's going on with his life at the moment and kind of tired of what he does. Now, we go back into the scene where, they first seen him where he yells trolls. Now, earlier in that scene, you hear the screaming, the flashing lights, kind of wondering what the hell's going on. So they go back to the woods. But before they go back to the woods, he tells them, if I'm going to allow you to film me if you listen to everything I say. And he gives them this nasty thing. It's like a troll stench that they start, like cleaning all over themselves. Well, anyways, one of the first things he asks them is, are any of you guys Christians? This will be played out later on in the film because there is a reason for this question. Now, I'm not going to talk about, every single troll we've seen, but there are interesting trolls that play out in this movie. They're all different from one another. They all have different aspects. They're all done in different ways to separate one from the other. So as we dive deeper into the film, we soon find out that Hans kind of hunts or keeps these trolls in check. Now, exactly what is happening that's causing these trolls to leave their areas and come to more populated areas, attacking people, attacking cattle. What is driving them is what is driving Hans to find out exactly what is going on with these trolls. Now, we get to sit down with him. It's a good scene where he talks about what he does, how he tracks the trolls, how he kills the trolls, disposes of the trolls. But one character that we see early in the beginning is Finn. Now, Finn is the head of the wildlife division of the government, but we later find out that he is Hans' boss and part of the troll security service. Now, what they are is basically they keep the population from knowing exactly what is going on with these trolls because they're things of folklore and myth, and they don't want them to, be revealed to the population. But we find a character Finn who, when he finds out that the kids are filming, he gets very pissed off, adamant that they will not, I repeat, they will not ever show that footage, and that footage doesn't belong to them. So let's continue diving into the story. As we go deeper into the woods, we find out the habits of the trolls. We find out certain things that they are fond of, for example, goats. And let's go back to it again. The Christian blood. People of faith have a tendency of getting a reaction from these trolls, as basically they sense anybody who is a Christian belief. Now, how does this really play out is interesting in the film, because we find out later on with Kale that he kind of kept this a secret in one of the scenes in the film towards the end. So Hans goes and he tries to find out what's continuing going on with these trolls. We get a different variety one. The bridge scene is probably one of the best scenes in this movie. I'd rather have you watch it. I'll probably show a little something later, but the bridge scene is a great scene in this. We soon find out that after the bridge scene, after Hans collects the blood from one of these trolls that he disposes of, that the thing that's driving these trolls away from their areas is the fact that they're getting infected by rabies. How are they getting infected by rabies? Who is infecting them by rabies? We don't get to find out till later on in the film, when Hans takes the filmmakers, minus one possibly, to the northern regions of Norway, where we get to see one of the most massive trolls. I mean, talking about Godzilla size, called the Jotun. Now, this one particular Jotun character troll is the one that's past, giving the rabies away. But the fact that you have Hans, this guy who's just basically, by this point in the movie, he's at the effort point. He just wants to take this one troll down and basically quit. So we get this epic scene with Hans going toe to toe with the Jotun. I mean, for me, this is one of the most cinematically beautifully done sequences in the movie. Now, cinematography plays a big part in this movie because Norway is beautiful. I mean, the landscape, everything they show is just, it takes your breath away. At the same time, it adds so much to this film. But we get to toe to toe with the Jotun. Now, the scene with the Jotun, I'm going to keep going back to this because you have to watch the scene. You have Hans in the small car basically playing music. I don't know what type of music it is. Every time I hear it, I feel like it's opera, but it just like drives the trolls crazy. So he uses the music to lure the Jotun and ultraviolet lights. But overall, the fact that we have this final clash, and who comes back at the end of this film? Finn. Now, Finn basically is a man of his word. So I'll just leave it at that. Remember what I said earlier, what Finn said to the filmmakers. But yeah, this film is an interesting film. One of the big things about this film is people criticize the appearance of the trolls. Now, I didn't mind the appearance of the trolls. I like the fact that they were so diverse, but there is a reason why they decided to go this route with the appearance of the troll. The producers used the works sketched by famous Norwegian illustrator Theodor Kilson. Kilson's paintings, prints, and illustration often represented eerie Nordic folklore. See, that being said, I gave kudos to the filmmakers and the producers and the director and the writer for bringing something like that to the film. Now, they paid respect to somebody who had a passion for the Nordic folklore and the fact that his illustrations were beautifully done in this film. I mean, like it or not, the trolls were actually different. They were pretty fun to watch. The Mountain Kings were kind of funny, that scene with the Mountain Kings. But I don't want to get into depth with the trolls themselves because I'd rather have you watch the trolls. Give me what you thought of these trolls because for me, like I said, the Mountain Kings were pretty cool. The Jotun was just so freaking like an old man to be honest. But with that being said, I mean, how do I feel about this film? Well, you'll notice by now, whenever we wear this shirt, it's for a reason. I think this film is definitely a must-found film because it delivers. Now, yes, it has a slow pace at the beginning. It has a slow build-up. Once the trolls come into play, it becomes fun. Now, remember, mockumentaries are an aspect of found footage where you're actually watching a storyline take place. You're getting the background of everything. And mockumentaries have a tendency of going at a slow pattern. But Trollhunter, the character Hans, for me, is one of my favorite characters in found footage because he was just so interesting. Guy who basically is just tired. He's tired of doing what he's doing. I mean, has no life, doesn't get paid well, doesn't get paid overtime, doesn't get paid for second, third shift because no matter what, he's getting paid one steady rate to come on, combat trolls. I don't know. Let me know what you think of this film. Yes, some people found it to be a slow crawl, but give the film a chance. I don't want to hear, oh, it has subtitles. Don't let subtitles take you away from films. Some of the best movies right now are international horror films. And if you let the subtitles get to you, then you're actually cheating yourself from watching a good international horror movie. Now, Papo just came in. We're gonna go out. Do you know there's not actually a Texas Rojas in Norway? But we're gonna go out, go hang out. We don't have a crew, but I made some phone calls, so we might, hook up with a couple people. Just I don't know, maybe go troll hunting ourselves. But definitely watch this film, and we will step out to do some troll hunting ourselves. This is GR, Lost or Found. Watch the film, subscribe, like, love, share, drink, coffee. Bustelo. Watch this film. Currently streaming on Tubi. Trollhunter is a must-watch found footage film. This is JR Papo. Let's go troll hunting. Peace. Iron Man, what are you wearing? Here you go. Oh! Papo. Yeah, I think we should go now. I don't think that dude getting up, and we don't need an investigation here in Norway, so let's go. Alright, I think I smoked too much weed anyway. I'm gonna take a nap. Boss, I think these guys are crazy and they're not gonna let us go. Okay, boss. I go to sleep too.